The biblical story of Balak raises a question that is relevant in our own day. The question is this: ought we see the Jewish people, first and foremost, as being an integral part of humanity and universal human culture, or as something different, unique, and set apart? Parashat Balak appears to give a definite answer to this question when it says of the people of Israel in chapter 23, verse 9, that this is a people that dwells alone and is not reckoned with the other nations. Of course, in order to ascertain the deep meaning of this verse, it is necessary to interpret it in the context of the story in which it is proclaimed. It's a story that tells of the attempt on the part of Balak, king of Moab, to curse the people of Israel on their way from Egypt to the land of Canaan. With this intent, he turns to Bil'am, a magician who hails from the east, to curse the people of Israel in his name. Now, for a moment, please take note that the meaning of the verb to curse in the ancient world is not the same as it is today. It is not merely to say something bad about someone or something. Rather, the curse is understood to be a verbal statement that carries magical powers. That is why Balak turned to Bil'am, a magician, to curse the people for him. Consequently, we find in verse 23 the following statement that explains why Bil'am does not succeed in cursing the people of Israel. I quote, "Because there is no charm in Jacob, no magic in Israel," meaning that as opposed to the other nations that in those days were all idolatrous and believed in magic, magic does not work against the people of Israel and is not present among them, for their existence is solely dependent upon divine activity and speech. This, of course, teaches us in what way Israel, according to this story, dwells apart from the other peoples. The people of Israel live by divine prophecy and not by idolatrous magic. Let's therefore consider, does the verse that states that Israel is a people who lives apart from all the other nations have any significance in the modern period, when the surrounding peoples are all monotheistic and no longer believe in magic? For this purpose, I turn now to the manner in which an important 19th century Jewish thinker, Rabbi Nahman Krochmal, used the term "a nation that dwells apart" in his classic Guide for the Perplexed of our time. There is a section in this book where Krochmal uses this term to explain why the first temple was destroyed and the people exiled. With respect to this, he says that even though in the kingdom of Judah there was not an extensive practice of idolatry, under the kings Achaz, Menashe, and Jehoiakim, the people adopted aspects of idolatrous ritual, and says these foolish kings were not aware of the spiritual character of the Jewish people, as was the Gentile prophet, that is, the magician Bil'am, who said, I quote, "This is a people that dwells apart and is not reckoned among the nations." This is to say that according to Rabbi Krochmal, the first destruction and subsequent exile follow from the people forgetting that they were meant to be different than the other peoples, and therefore sinned in adopting their ways. However, we find elsewhere in Krochmal's writings the opposite position as well. This is where he tries to explain why the children of Israel had to go down to Egypt and become slaves before they could become an independent people. There he says, I quote, "Divine providence commanded this holy family to go down to Egypt and live there in order to become enriched by learning the skills they could not acquire in the land of Canaan." The reference being to the skills needed to build a material civilization, such as in the building of houses, roads, industry, etc. But then we must ask, does Krochmal see the people of Israel that one dwells alone, or does he see them as one that is involved with the lives and cultures of other peoples and of humanity as a whole? At first glance, he does appear to be contradicting himself. But there is an answer that can be found in a dialectical perception that Krochmal ascribes to the Torah in its entirety. Indeed, he believed that the people of Israel is by its nature a people that is involved, often through exile, in the material building of human civilization with the other peoples, but that the people of Israel is also a people that dwells unto itself in the sense of its mission to sanctify that which it has learned from the peoples through the ages in the unification of the divine name for all. Shavua Tov from Schechter.